Hey, what's up, guys? So welcome to day 4. So today is really about mastering your ideal plan. And what I mean by that is trying to map the bits and pieces together that we've already gone through, basically about training, about nutrition, our goal setting and stuff like that. So this is where we kind of put everything together. And from there, we try and create an ideal plan for you to help you progress, move forward towards whatever goals that you basically have. And what you got to remember as well, the number one thing that kind of stops people from achieving their goals isn't about knowing what to do, but more about having a plan to follow and the accountability to actually make it happen and follow through with it. So even around food and stuff like that, everybody knows what they should and shouldn't be eating. And even around training and stuff, people generally know that they should be moving a bit more than they are actually doing at the moment, or even getting to a gym, getting out for walks, runs, whatever it may be. So everybody knows these things. It's just what stops most people is, I think, having the accountability, having that extra bit of a push, and having the right kind of systems and steps in place to actually help you progress, move forward, and get to where you want to be. So the best thing to do in order to achieve your goals and map out an ideal plan for yourself is start by working backwards. So we start off by asking ourselves, and if you have a pen and paper handy, this is going to be the perfect time for you to actually start taking notes and answer these questions as we're going through them. Obviously, if you're catching up on the recording and stuff like that, you can stop as we go through each of the questions, hit pause, get your answer down on paper, and then move on to the next step. So the very first question I want you to ask yourself and write down is, what is it you really want to be able to achieve in terms of weight loss, your fitness, your strength goals? How do you want to look? How do you want to feel? So just kind of write each of those points down. What is it that you really want to be able to achieve? So once you've done that, we move on to the next question and asking yourself, how much time are you willing to commit to actually achieving these goals? Now, if you're someone that has kids, you're busy, you might have your own business, you might be high up working in whatever job you're doing, and you may not have a lot of time. So now is your time to actually make that commitment to yourself, try and figure out what kind of time slots you have throughout the day that you can actually commit to using towards helping you progress and move forward. And once you've kind of written those down, we're going to move on to the next question, which is, what are the potential barriers? So what are the things that are going to come up or may potentially get in the way to stopping you from getting to the gym, from getting out, getting your steps, and from doing your runs, from preparing your food? So these are the things that we want to try and make ourselves aware of right now, so that when they do come up, it's so much easier then to actually overcome them. So again, write each of those barriers down. And kind of once you've kind of written down the barriers, what's also good is if you came up with, say, one to two solutions of what you're going to do if those barriers do arise. So let's say, for example, you were planning to go for a run and it was absolutely lashing rain. Like, you got to ask yourself, are you going to let that rain stop you from getting out there? Or are you going to find an alternative? Are you going to get to the gym instead? Are you going to do a class? Are you going to go lift some weights? Do you have some sort of cardio equipment at home that you can use instead? Obviously then as well, if, say, meetings and work comes up or something else for work comes up that you can't actually do your training that day, then you need to ask yourself, okay, cool, what's the solution going to be when that does happen? Because it probably will happen at times. So as long as you have a solution for yourself and a commitment to yourself to actually follow through, it will make it so much easier. So if you miss a day, you might say, you know what, I'm not going to go today, but I'm 100% going to go tomorrow. And I'm going to try and make up the day that I missed somewhere else, or I'm going to get out for a longer walk later on, or get out for a run, or whatever it may be. So I want you to come up with solutions for your potential barriers right now to help you progress and move forward. Now, next thing, what are some of the sacrifices you're willing to make? So obviously, if you are serious about losing weight, dropping body fat, improving your health, looking a specific way, then there will be sacrifices that need to be made. This could be, you might have nights out every week, whatever. So you might know that if you're having a night out, it's sending you backwards a bit. So you need to be willing to sacrifice a couple of nights out to be able to stay on track yourself. You may need to be able to make sacrifices based around, if you're someone that has a really sweet tooth and you always have dessert with your meals or whatever, or you always find that you're picking at specific sweets or sugary stuff or drinking sugary drinks. These are the sacrifices you need to make. You need to be willing to make changes. because if you keep doing what you're already doing, then you're going to continue to get the same results. In order to get the result that you want, you need to be willing to do things different than you are already doing. Now, the next thing then you're going to start writing down is, when will you commit to taking action? This is going to be really important. Now, you could say, oh, I'm going to wait till after Christmas, I'm going to wait till the new year. But all you're doing then is setting yourself even further backwards. You're better off right now committing to yourself to making some sort of action. You don't have to be going balls out 100% now straight away, but you do need to be making that commitment to yourself of starting to make little improvements, whether it's just eating a healthier meal a day, getting a bit more veg into yourself, drinking a little bit more water, getting out, starting to get your steps in, maybe get to the gym once or twice a week. So whatever it is that you know you need to be doing, you need to make a commitment to starting right now. Because right now, if you're watching this, you are in that mindset, you are in that place of being willing to take action. And it is important that you do take action, because that's what's going to allow you to get to where you want to be. Right, next part, just as an example, if your goal is to lose weight or drop body fat, this is kind of a plan that would potentially work for you. So first of all, what we got to do is we got to work out our calories, work out our protein. So we have specific targets that we're working towards in being able to achieve our goals of losing weight and dropping body fat. So that's going to be the most vital part. Then what we need to do in order to ensure that we do stay within our calorie range and our protein and hitting our protein target, we can track our food on something like MyFitnessPal. So that's going to allow us to be able to look every day and say, do you know what? I've managed to stay well under my calories every single day this week. That means I know I should be making progress. Another thing then, getting your step count up. So getting yourself a bit more active, getting yourself moving a bit more, and committing to 10,000 steps a day. So we know that 10,000 steps is roughly around 500 calories. And doing that over 7 days is an extra 3,500 calories you burn by just getting your 10,000 steps in a day. 3,500 calories is also half a kilo of body fat. So tracking your food, just getting the steps in, your weight should actually start going in the direction you want it to go. Next up, committing to training, minimum 3 days a week. Again, getting into the gym, focusing on building strength, building muscle. It's going to massively help you with losing weight and dropping body fat. Then we're looking at making sure that we're getting plenty of water in, staying hydrated, drinking at least 3 liters of water daily. Again, when we recover from our training, it's going to mostly happen outside of the gym. So that's going to be, sleep is going to be vitally important, our water intake and our food. So aiming for 7 to 8 hours sleep every night, and also as well trying to get into a proper sleep pattern where you kind of go to sleep at the same time, wake up at the same time each and every day. Avoiding high sugar and calorie snacks. So again, obviously drinking calories is a simple way to put on weight, because it doesn't make you feel full and it's so easy to knock it back. And this is the same as well, like when you're drinking beers and stuff like that, or you could easily be knocking back over 200 calories every time you have a pint or whatever. So it's just being aware of that kind of stuff. And once you start putting these things in place for your own plan, that's when you will start to see changes happen within yourself. You're going to feel better, you're going to look better, you're going to be more energized, you're going to start being, I suppose, even an inspiration for your kids as well, because they're going to be seeing you and watching you and seeing what you do each and every day. So as you're doing this kind of stuff, they're seeing that and they're taking it on board, and they're more inclined as well to be making better choices as well for themselves. So this is kind of basically what I did for me to get where I was before to where I am now. It was simply cutting out processed foods. At the time when I first started training, I was more or less living off fast food, drinking all the time. I trained about 5 days a week, kept my activity up as much as possible. It didn't really have to be, right, I have to go out and get 10,000 steps. I just tried to move around as much as possible. Back then, the jobs I was doing and stuff like that always required me to be on my feet. So I was constantly moving all the time. Avoiding snacking at night, that was a huge thing for me. So when I sat down after my dinner, that I wasn't diving into a box of biscuits or anything like that, or staying away from chocolate or whatever it may be. Avoiding those snacks at night had a huge impact on me getting to where I am. Throughout the day, focused on high protein meals, low calorie, plenty veg, plenty fruit, stuff like that. Again, it just kind of fell back into me staying within that calorie deficit. Followed an 80-20 rule for me personally, and I still do it today. I'll probably have like a takeaway on the weekend, have a couple of beers on the weekend, But Monday to Friday, I am strict. Like I more or less eat the same breakfast every day, the same lunch, get plenty of water into me every day, and keep my training up, keep myself active as much as possible. And then on the weekend, I'll have one takeaway. So you could call it maybe even a cheat meal. I don't call it a cheat meal. I just call it a meal. You know, again, at the end of the day, you want to set yourself up, create a plan for you that's going to work for you long term. So these are kind of the principles I've been following for the last 20 odd years. So it wasn't right, I'm going to do this now for the next 6 weeks and that's it. This is part of my life now. This is part of who I am. And that's why I have my drinks on the weekend, my takeaway on the weekend, because I enjoy that kind of thing. And when you kind of set this up right and do it for yourself in a way you still enjoy, it's so much easier to maintain. You never feel like you're on a diet. You never feel like you're restricting yourself, and you still get to enjoy yourself on top of that. But it does take time. It does take effort, and you have to be willing to commit to making the sacrifices and committing to putting a specific plan in place that's going to actually help you progress and move forward. So I still get to enjoy my weekends. And I also as well track how I see myself in the mirror. And I still do that today. If I notice that my body fat's coming up a bit, I'll cut back on the calories that I'm eating, whether that's cutting out snacks at night, whether it's skipping having a takeaway for a few weeks, cutting back on having drinks for a few weeks until I get my body fat back down again. If I see my abs disappearing, that's when I start to actually make changes now, because it took me so long to actually get to a stage where I do have abs. And for me, that was a huge, huge achievement. It was a massive boost in my own self-confidence as well, because for me, I always hated who I seen in the mirror. I absolutely hated it. And it affected my mental health, affected how I seen myself, and I had no confidence whatsoever. So obviously over the years as well, I've worked with, I'd say, thousands of people for the last, I think about just over 16 years now I've been doing this, working with people. And everybody is the same. It comes back to creating healthier habits for yourself, getting people moving more, adjusting everything to fit in around your busy lifestyle, around your family and stuff like that. Identifying whatever challenges that you may have, just the same as that we went through earlier, and then focus on long-term change. Like at the end of the day, like if you focus on, say, I'm going to do this for the next 6 weeks or 12 weeks, that's straight away you're kind of setting yourself up for failure, because yes, you might get to a good place in 6 to 12 weeks, but unless you have that long-term vision and unless you are creating these habits for long-term change, you could very easily fall into that pattern that you were in before. So it's all good saying, right, I'm going to lose weight really quick and I'm going to get really strict on absolutely everything. The weight's going to fall off me. But then you get there and you're going, right, what do I do now? So that's where you need to create this lifestyle change for yourself, focus on long-term health. And to be honest, that's what I feel works really well for people to keep them on track. And it works really well for myself as well. So just going into a little bit how I kind of help people. And when I work with anybody, through my coaching program, whether it's through my hybrid program where I do some personal training and I do online, or whether I do fully online with people, what we need to do is we need to sit down and go through each of these elements with you, create a tailored plan that's based around you, your lifestyle, your goals, and figure out what are the habits that you really need to start focusing on right now, so we can start to get you ticking off your habits each and every day, so that you create those new habits that are going to help set the pace for you moving forward. Same with the training, nutrition plan, everything is kind of tailored around you, your goals, and what it is that you want to be able to achieve. Also, as well as tailored around what you have available to you. Maybe you don't even want to go to a gym, and that's fine. I've got like a full home-based program as well, that you don't need any equipment or anything. And I got video tutorials, and I'm doing full classes and everything. So you can kind of get full access to all that. In my website as well, I've got a full members area. Got a full education section on fitness, on nutrition, on mindset. I've got a whole nutrition course as well you get access to. I've got absolutely everything that you need in order to help you get to where you want to be. I even have a full self-discovery course because I have a background in life coaching as well. So again, it's helping people kind of strengthen their mindset, overcome mental barriers that they may be having, and really kind of, I suppose, change the relationship with how you see yourself in the mirror, and kind of help people feel happier in themselves. That's kind of my kind of big thing with people, is getting them to really connect with themselves a lot more, to love who they see back in the mirror, and create more happiness within your life while getting fitter and stronger and improving everything else around you as well at the same time. So it's been absolutely incredible so far over the last 16 years or so, working with so many people and helping them challenge themselves, helping them push themselves outside their comfort zone, and then actually seeing people flourish, becoming fitter, stronger, losing weight, getting fitter. Some people as well just want to get bigger and build muscle. We've been doing that as well. So it's absolutely incredible working with people over the last few years and so. And like, if there's something that you want to take this another step further, obviously what we're doing over these 5 days is just kind of a bit of a sample, a bit of a taster about what I do. I'm only going to be taking on a certain amount of people now, especially coming into January, because it's going to be mental. And what I'm also doing as well is we're going to be laying out your program for you step by step. Anybody as well that is interested and they want to sign up into it, you're going to be getting the rest of the month for free as well on top of that. So then it wouldn't actually even start until, so we lay out your plan, get you moving now, get you starting to create new habits over these next few weeks, and then we really kind of hit it hard then coming January. So as an accountability task, if you are watching the replay on this, I want you to post underneath the post and let me know what kind of a plan that you have in place for yourself, or even if you need help creating a plan for yourself. And as I said, if you're interested in finding out a bit more about my coaching program, shoot me a private message, shoot me a DM. Make sure you add me as a friend first on Facebook and shoot me a message, because the messages can get lost if we're not friends. And let's have a chat and we can go from there. All right, guys, cheers for tuning in today, and I shall catch you tomorrow.